Hey Wargamers, we're starting to get a better idea of what's in Chapter Approved 2017, and today I want to talk about the Tau component of that. We know that Tau are getting 2 new Warlord traits, a Relic and a Stratagem, and they have some actual impact on how you're going to play the army going forward. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If you like this video, head on over to my Facebook page. I'm trying to do more stuff with that, so I'll keep that updated with videos and other tidbits. So head on over there, like it, and you'll stay up to date on everything. So, alright, what did Tau get? Well, first off, I mentioned a few things that Tau did get, but let's talk about what they didn't get. They didn't get major points adjustments in the main rulebook or in the main chapter approved for the index. So that could mean nothing, but based on some stuff from Frontline Gaming, it kind of seems like Tau are going to be coming out sooner rather than later as far as a codex is concerned. So probably my guess would be a February release. It could mean nothing. It could just be that Games Workshop for some reason thinks Tau are completely balanced in terms of points, but the things Reese was putting out suggest that perhaps Tau are coming sooner than we might expect. So we know Demons are coming out in January. Tau could be, a codex or two after that. So keep your eyes peeled for Tau codex release stuff. Beyond that, though, let's talk about the Warlord traits. There's 2 Warlord traits. One focuses on Cao Yun, Master of Cao Yun, and Master of Mon Ka. They are basically permanent buffs to your Warlord in the spirit of the Master of War abilities. So for Cao Yun, it makes your Warlord able to reroll failed misses if they did not move. And for Mon Ka, it allows them to advance and fire normally. This is these are fine. These are good. They're certainly better than the Master of War abilities because you can have it the entire game. So that's nice. In addition, they're not tied specifically to special characters. So, for instance, Shadow Sun could take the Mon Ka ability, and Farsight could take the Cao Yun ability. But overall, I think the Mon Ka ability is much stronger. The Cao Yun ability allows you to reroll misses, like I said, and for most things that you're going to have be your Warlord, they're going to be hitting on 2s anyway. If you have a single Marker Light, they're effectively rerolling misses as is. So that's pretty underwhelming, not to mention they have to sit still to use it. But for Mon Ka, being able to advance and shoot normally is a huge benefit. So I think if you're going to, this could actually make Shadow Sun a lot more appealing because it makes her a lot more mobile. She can advance and fire her fusion blasters without issue. Now, I would still probably go with the standard Quad Fusion Commander over Shadow Sun, but if you were going to bring Shadow Sun, this is actually a pretty good option, taking the Mon Ka ability. Overall, I like these. I would go with the Mon Ka consistently over the Cao Yun ability, and with respect to the situation or the opponent, I might consider taking the Mon Ka ability instead of the Feel No Pain Warlord trait, but overall I think it's somewhat situational, but a very good Warlord trait overall, I think. You can't really underestimate the power of mobility in 8th edition. It's super important, and being able to move and fire normally is really nice, or advance and fire normally is really nice. Moving on to the Stratagem. The Stratagem allows you to spend 1 command point and add an additional D3 Marker Light hits to a single Marker Light. So if you hit with a Marker Light, you can immediately spend a command point and say, okay, I want this to do D3 plus 1 Marker Lights instead of just 1. And that's not bad. I think this is actually probably a better use of a single command point than a reroll one or a single reroll or something like that, at least in the shooting phase, because a lot of the time that I end up needing to reroll something, it's because I was expecting a hit on 3s and I hit on a 2, and you know, if I would have just had +1 to ballistic skill anyway, I would have made that roll, or you know, things like that. Things where, you know, if you just had one better characteristic, you wouldn't need the reroll to begin with. So being able to buff your marker light bank by additional D3, potentially making that 5 marker light threshold much more attainable, I think is a huge win. It's not going to be game changing. It's not going to suddenly make Tau the top tier army going into 2018, but it does give us more options in terms of getting the right number of marker lights that we really need. You know, it's in terms of getting 5 marker lights on a single target, it's often more difficult than it's worth, in my opinion. And this kind of gives us a way out of that. I can still get those 5 marker lights fairly regularly without having to invest a ton more points in Pathfinders and have them just get shut off the board right away. This is something that's resistant to degradation of your marker light bank. It helps boost your marker light output throughout the game, which is really nice. I think this is good. It also means that Tau armies have more options as far as command points, or rather stratagems, are concerned, and so you might want to start thinking a little bit more critically about the number of command points your army generates, how many detachments you have, what those detachments are. So that's important to note. Yeah. So one question I have on this is how it interacts with the high intensity marker lights for Tetras. There's basically 3 options, I think. One is that it doesn't interact at all. These are high intensity marker lights, and the stratagem specifically says marker lights. So, you know, maybe this does not affect those marker lights at all. And I think that's probably the case. I don't think that they would build in this multiplicative ability like that. So it probably doesn't matter at all. But there are 2 options where it could matter. One is that, you know, you get your high intensity marker light hit, and then you can use the stratagem on one of those marker lights hits, not all 3 of them or something like that. But you can select one, and then instead of having 3, you have you know, 5 marker light hits just based on that. The third option is that for each high intensity marker light hit that you get, you can kind of explode this out into D3 plus 1 marker light hits. I think that's unlikely, and I think that would actually be overkill in most cases. You know, a single Tetra just, you know, completely, you know, obliterating a target with marker lights, you know, getting it up to like 8 marker lights or something like that seems unlikely as a rules decision. So probably doesn't interact at all, but something to put out there to think about and mull over. The last thing that we get is the relic. It's the Puretide Engram Neurochip. This used to be a fantastic support system in previous editions of the game, and now it's back, but it's not quite as good. It's pretty good, but it's not as good as it used to be. What it allows you to do is re-roll a single die. Re-roll a die, basically. It's a free re-roll. And in addition, anytime you spend a command point or your opponent spends a command point, you can roll a die, and on a 6, you recoup a single command point. So, you know, this is a mechanic that we're seeing pop up in a lot of different armies, and it's valuable. It's, you know, basically like a tallyman, and you know, if it's free, why not take it? It's certainly going to help more than it hurts. It's not going to hurt at all, right? It's a free reroll plus you get command points. So that in itself is very good. It also helps deal with the command point economy that we talked about with the stratagem, being able to potentially get a few more command points back and increase your marker light bank more. But in addition to that, it's, you know, in addition to giving you the reroll, it also saves you from having to spend a command point to reroll a die. It has a, you know, a small. It's not a universal thing. You can't use it on units that are across the board from your commander, but you still have the ability to reroll some dies, and that can make a big difference. So you're saving command points because you get free rerolls, and you get. I guess I should actually specify. You get a single free reroll, and then, which is an important caveat. You get a single free reroll, and then you are able to generate additional command points. So overall, fairly good. If you don't have to give anything up for it, which you don't, it's worth taking, but it's not going to make or break your game. Similar to all these other traits, it's not going to completely change the feel of your army or anything like that. But they are nice benefits to help the army moving forward. So that's it for Tau in Chapter Approved. There are some changes to the Imperial armor units. Most importantly, the Supremacy armor is up to 1,500 points. So a big points increase there. There's not a change in the Ivara or the Arvarna though. I would have expected the Ivara to go up a little bit, and if it didn't go up, I would expect Arvarna to go down, just to make it a little bit more of a competitive choice against the Ivara, but neither of those things happen. So Ivara is still a very solid choice moving forward, and Arvarna is still good, but not quite as good as Ivara. So yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to the Tau Codex. I expect, like I said, it to come out soon, and when it does, we will do a full review of that, of course. And in addition, once Chapter Approved formally hits the shelves, we will go through and talk about some of the nitty-gritty details for other armies other than Tau. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course, happy wargaming.